In today's episode of Steve Talks Too Much About Real Estate, I'm going to tell you the top 3 best performing markets according to REW. The fact that the city of Victoria is looking to tighten down on renovictions, and the fact that CMHC says that overvaluations are making the Canadian market extremely vulnerable. That's right, I found 3 news stories that I want to cover, but I don't think any of them are good enough for just one video. So I'm going to cover them all right after I ask you to please subscribe to the channel if you're looking to stay up to date in my marketplace of Surrey, BC, and the Fraser Valley, or anywhere in the province of British Columbia, or the country of Canada for that matter. Please subscribe to join our 1,000 subscriber giveaway. If you're looking to buy, you can download our Informed Buyer's Guide in the description, or you can book a call with me if you have any questions about the real estate market. And now let's get on to the video and find out why CMHC says we're in so much trouble. All right, so this is a global news article written about a report out from CMHC that says the housing sector moved from moderate to high degree of vulnerability during the second quarter, with Toronto, Ottawa, and Montreal among the markets shouldering most of the concern. So they're saying here that the vulnerability is due to accelerated prices across the area in Ontario and much of Eastern Canada. And then they say here, well, the housing market activity is very strong, price growth is very strong, and prices are very high. I don't understand what's the problem. So then they come out and say CMHC basically does this report quarterly, and they say that what they look at are 4 big factors of overheating, price acceleration, overvaluation, and excess inventories. If these factors become unbalanced, they figure that, you know, the market could go upside down. And I do think there are some vulnerabilities in prices and how high they have gotten. However, they keep going on and saying that there is not really a problem with excess inventory like you may have heard about in the news lately with China. But even though inventories are remaining quite low, they're still giving the country's vulnerability an overall high ranking. So it said in the previous 2 quarters that they showed an overall housing market as being a moderate degree of vulnerability, but what they're warning about is these crazy increases that they've seen in Ontario's cottage country, in Niagara, Bancroft, have no idea where that is really, and the North Bay region, which don't receive vulnerability ratings, but contribute to the national analysis. So I'm a little bit worried about that. So they say they don't do ratings on those areas, but those areas are what are affecting their ratings. And then it goes on to say that these individual areas are high degrees of vulnerability. So that is Toronto, Hamilton, Ottawa, Montreal, Moncton, and Halifax. And then the best part is they say the only one that actually changed from being vulnerable from last quarter was Montreal. The rest of them were already apparently very highly vulnerable. But this is my favorite part of the article here. Check this out. I love this. CMHC kept Victoria, Edmonton, and Calgary at the moderate level, saying that they're not doing so bad, while Vancouver, Saskatoon, and Regina, Winnipeg, and Quebec City were assessed at having a low degree of vulnerability. The low ranking was actually new for Vancouver. Now, I'm just a stupid realtor, so I don't exactly understand a lot of these, the studies and how they come up with these numbers and the economists and their ratings and all that stuff. But it is interesting that Toronto is viewed as a very high level of risk, or vulnerability, they call it. And Vancouver has actually been downgraded to a lower analysis. So with all of the price fluctuations that we're seeing in the increase, it's kind of amazing to me that the most expensive city is the least vulnerable city. Well, maybe not the least vulnerable city, but it is a lower vulnerability than it was just a few months back. So I'm not going to try and pretend to figure out what CMHC says, because it changes every single quarter when they release a new study. Now let's move on to Victoria and the fact that they are trying to limit or crack down on what they call renovictions. This is a CBC news article. And what the heck is a renoviction? Really quick before the video continues, I'm going to donate $1 during the entire month of October for any like that a video gets that's published within this month. All of that money is going to go directly to the Surrey Food Bank in replacement of our annual fundraiser that we normally would do, but we can't can't due to the virus. So if you want me to give $1 to the Surrey Food Bank up to $2,500, you can do so right now by clicking like on this video before October 31st. And if you yourself would like to donate to the food bank this year, you can do so down below using the link in the description. Thank you so much for helping me bring awareness to the Surrey Food Bank and those in need. Now back to the video. The heck is a renoviction? Well, they define it here for us just so we understand. Now, my opinion is a renoviction is one of those news terms like blind bidding or shadow flipping. It's just part of real estate, but that's fine. They determine a renoviction to be a term used to describe when a landlord evicts a tenant by claiming that they will complete major renovations. Now, personally, I love when you put in any definition by saying words like claiming, because that automatically assumes that the landlord's not going to do the renovations. And then it says it is a problem for the red hot real estate market. Well, really, it is a problem for renters who can't afford to move on to the next place at a higher rent. But the province does have checks and balances in place for this. Now, I can't comment on them because my license is for resale or the sale of properties and not for tenancy. In BC, we have two different licenses. So I can't really comment on that. But my understanding is, I believe if you do kick somebody out to renovate the place, you have to offer it back to that person, all nicely renovated at a new higher rent. Well, Victoria is trying to put an end to that and tighten down even further. And they point out here in the article that under the current protections that are there, the new landlord, or sorry, the existing landlord, once they renovate the place and it's nice and new inside, they can now ask a new fair market value in rental. So it looks like what they want to try and do is reduce, similar to rent increases, reduce the amount that if you kick somebody out, that you can then go ahead and charge an even higher rent. So they want to limit the amount of rent that you can increase even after someone is evicted and the unit is completely renovated. However, this is just in the works and nothing is set yet to be in Victoria. I'm sure that this will continue to sweep across the province because tenants' rights are an issue, and there are a lot of people, I'm going to come out and just say it, there are a lot of landlords that do terrible things like kick people out, not do the renovation, and then just try and rent it for more money, which is a terrible, despicable thing. However, you have to keep one thing in mind. If a landlord is not allowed to increase their property value and then increase their rental income as a result, they're simply just not going to do it. My worry is that they will actually become dilapidated, terrible buildings over time because you can't increase the rent anyway. So why would you ever do the renovations or the repairs that are required? And well, in reality, we're going to end up with some slums as a result of these laws. Now, do I know the perfect solution? No, I don't. The landlords, there are bad actors out there for sure. There are also amazing good landlords out there that just want to make an income and invest in real estate. And there are also tenants being put in terrible situations. So is there a right answer or wrong answer? I don't think there is. But as promised, on to a little happier news, REW, which everybody calls it, but it's actually REW. It used to be the Real Estate Weekly. Now, because it's all online and the paper is gone, it is the Real Estate Wire, rew.ca. Tri-City News actually covered this. Real Estate Weekly actually put out an article telling everybody about the best performing areas searched on their website. And if you don't know, rew.ca is probably one of the most searched in British Columbia. Anyway, in my marketplace of Surrey, BC, REW is probably the spot you want to go. And look at this, number one. Oh, an ad pops up. Come on, guys, you're killing me. Number one is Kitsilano. Obviously, if you're searching in Vancouver, you want to be searching in probably the nicest neighborhoods. So Kitsilano gets the number one slot. And it says here, since the pandemic began, REW has seen a 200% increase in sessions by people under the age of 30. Many of those users searching for properties in trendy destination of Kits. Number two is, believe it or not, White Rock. And I think that's kind of funny because we all know everybody wants to move to White Rock, but they actually end up in South Surrey. Wrong side of the tracks, that's me. But yes, everybody wants to try and live by the ocean, and White Rock apparently is nicer than Surrey, so that's where they're going to search. And believe it or not, number 3, I actually couldn't believe this when I saw it, but I'm very proud because I'm from Cloverdale. Cloverdale is Surrey's hottest marketplace, and it shows. People want to be there. And it even says here that Surrey as a whole is the most consistently searched spot on REW, with many investors looking at Surrey as a prime location for growth. Townhomes and Cloverdale are in high demand, and multiple offers continue to come on fairly priced properties. So there you have it. Vancouver is not as vulnerable as Toronto, Montreal, or anywhere back east for that matter. If you're a landlord in Victoria and you want to update your property, yeah, you're going to be in tough over the next little bit, but the rest of us are in tough here in BC anyway. And believe it or not, Kitsilano, White Rock, and Cloverdale are the spots to be, at least online. Thank you so much for watching. Please check out another couple of videos while you're here. Make sure you hit the like button to help me help the Surrey Food Bank this month, and we'll see you in a couple of days.